Hey, bud.
Hey, bud, are you ready for a wellness check?
I'm so ready for a wellness check. It's much needed. I cannot fathom that you have to go to school tomorrow. I cannot fathom that. Please tell us how you're doing.
Not only do I have to go to school tomorrow, the next 2 days are really booked and busy because today I only had one final. I literally was in the school building for about 3 hours. I worked for about an hour and a half of that. And so it was great. Tomorrow and Friday, I have two finals, so I have to be in the building from 8 to 12. And then tomorrow night, we have baccalaureate mass for the graduates that is mandatory for all faculty and staff. And then Friday night is graduation, which is also mandatory for all faculty and staff. So I will just kind of like be living at the school the next 2 days, but then I'm done.
That's exciting. Do you guys have like any like faculty get-togethers like after? Like, is there an end of school year party or something?
They're doing like a little social after that our president started last year, but we're doing the upstairs, we call it upstairs lunch because the English and social studies departments, like we live upstairs and everyone just kind of leaves us to our own thing. And at the end of every semester, we usually try to do like an upstairs lunch. So we're going to do that tomorrow.
Fun.
Yeah.
What do you think the first thing you're gonna do is once you're on summer break? Like, what are you doing on Saturday?
Well, Saturday at 5:30 a.m., I'm driving to the airport to fly to Texas. So we're not
Yes.
wasting a
Yeah.
single moment.
You're not wasting a single moment. Me last year when I like got on the plane to Italy, like literally on the last day of school.
Yeah, for some reason, when I booked this flight, I must have had amnesia because I was thinking that the flight was midday. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get to have like a nice, slow morning.
No.
Simply no. My mom was like, your uncle is picking you up at 5:30 a.m. to leave for the airport. So I was just like,
Did you get a
amazing.
direct flight?
We did get a direct flight.
Oh, that's always exciting. So then you can just kind of sleep, hopefully.
I will be sleeping.
Okay.
How's your summer going? Yeah, I feel like you've been on summer since the beginning of time.
I know. I feel like I've been on summer since the beginning of time. And like I'm in that part of summer where I'm like, I love not doing anything. I love not working. I
Mhm.
love being a stay-at-home person. Like I am just like going to see my family in like a week, 10 days ish. And like I will be a stay-at-home daughter for like
Yep.
the summer. It is my dream. It is like when I am happiest, is like I literally am doing nothing. Um, a dear friend and coworker that I have here has like a bougie pool membership. And for a guest to go, it's only $5. So I've just been going with her. Where the public pool here,
That's
it's $7
crazy.
to
I
go.
was gonna say
I know.
because we know about the pool day pass situation where you live is very contentious.
It's very contentious, the pool situation here. The public pools haven't even opened, which is ridiculous. They don't open until June 6th. School was literally out May 20th, and
Yeah,
it's
what are the kids
$7 to go.
doing?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. So this pool that my coworker goes to, it's $5 during the week, $10 on the weekend. Perfect. Amazing. I've gone with her twice, and I don't know if I should share this publicly, but both times no one was sitting at the front desk and we just walked by. So
Yeah, I feel like I mean, no one knows what this pool is.
yeah, whatever. But so that's been dreamy. And it's also like fun. She has children, like to play in the pool with kids. Like, do I want to do that every day, all day? Absolutely not. And I won't be doing that once I go spend some time with my family and I'm there for 6 weeks. But for like these 3 weeks, like I'll play with the kids. Like, I love a kiddie pool. Like, there's a slide, amazing. We're throwing rings, we're catching rings. It's great.
But speaking of a kiddie pool, you know what I did today?
What did you do?
So my brother, who I live with for the podcast listeners that don't know, texted me yesterday and he goes, "Should I buy this?" And it's a picture at Walmart for a 10-foot kiddie pool. And
In
I
depth
don't know if
or in width?
in like length, like it's
Oh, okay. I
10
was like, you're
feet.
not like standing. Okay, okay.
No, no, it's not. That would be
Okay,
crazy.
that'd
But
be
even
crazy.
10 feet length, I like didn't really think about that and how large that was. I don't know. I just think kiddie pool. I think of the kiddie pool that we bought in the summer that like
Yeah.
you can fit one leg into and it's kind of keeping you cool. No, this one, I didn't even I blew it up today. First of all, it was comical because I'm in my garage with the garage door open because I'm not an idiot, running my car because the only pump that I have is one of those that like only
Car
plugs
pumps,
into
yeah.
your, yeah, the car pump. I'm blowing up this massive kiddie pool. I drag it through our house, which is not that big, into our little backyard, and then I didn't even fill it up with the hose. I probably put like an inch of water in the bottom and sat in it, and it was like the greatest 30 minutes of my entire life.
I know, I was gonna ask because I have visited Teresa before, but she has recently moved and I haven't been to her new house, and I don't really know your backyard situation actually.
It's funny because I was telling this story not long before we started recording. I was talking to my friend Lily, and I was telling her about this, and she
Future
has been
guest,
to this
Lily.
future guest, and she has been to this house, and she was like, "Wait, you have a backyard?" Actually,
That's
she didn't
funny.
know that I had a backyard because it's so small, but it does. It's bigger than 10 feet, evidently, because
So
the
it fits
kiddie
the
pool
kiddie pool.
fits.
Okay, well that's exciting because I love pools. Um, and so I've been pooling it up out here. I've also been doing a lot of crafting. I get so crafty
Yes.
in the summer.
Talk
I
about
love
the
crafting.
crafting.
Um, and so that's really exciting. I also tomorrow it's supposed to be like really bad weather. And I booked a as we were talking about libraries and how important libraries are, the library near me has an embroidery machine and I booked it tomorrow for an hour. So I'm going to like test it out, like see what I can do on the embroidery machine to elevate my crafting game. But I've been making these mock necks because mock necks have been super in, and I really wanted this one that I saw online. It was $90 for a mock neck sweatshirt, which is insane. I
No.
was like, I can literally
Insane.
make that. So, Hobby Lobby had like blank mock necks. So I got one, and then they also have like a fabric scrap bin. So I had like rummaged through the fabric scraps and picked out like a color scheme that I wanted, and then like embroidered the letters onto the sweatshirt. And so like I think it looks kind of professional.
No, you showed it to me, and I have commissioned you to make me one for the 4th of July. But
Yes.
it genuinely, like, as someone who when I say dabbles, like, very much dabbles in sewing and altering clothes, like, there are very few things that I've been able to make that look professional. Like, some of them look nice, they're passable, but not professional. This looked professional. Like, if you had told me that you bought it from a store, I would have been like, yeah,
Yeah. So maybe we can do a little workshop this summer and I can teach you how to embroider. That would be kind of fun.
I would love that. Also, again, shout out to the public libraries. Like, embroidery machines, like, sewing machines are not that expensive.
No, but
Embroidery
embroidery, why
machines
is it
are
$600?
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, the cheapest one I could ever find is $600. So I was gonna meet this man in a Walmart parking lot to buy one off of Facebook Marketplace, but I was just kind of getting weird vibes and he wanted a check, which I thought was kind of weird. I wasn't really gonna give him my personal information on a check, so I just ghosted him now
You have
since.
checks.
Yeah, I have a check. Do you not have a
This is
check?
I don't have checks, and this is a hot, like, point of contention with my mom and I because she doesn't understand how I don't have checks. Like, there have been a
Well,
couple times where she's like, "How do you not have checks?" I'm like, "You have to pay for checks." I've never
yeah.
been in a situation where I've needed a checkbook.
Granted, I've only ever used the checkbook one time, and it wasn't even to write an actual check. Basically, I like got this grant, like through the government for basically being a teacher or like a newer teacher. And in order for them to like process the grant into my bank account, they needed a blank check. And so then I didn't have any, so I had to order a checkbook to then void a check to send them a blank check. And that's the only ever time I've used it. So then I wasn't gonna be the second time I use a checkbook to meet a man in a Walmart parking lot.
No.
So I decided not
That's
to.
not
I'm gonna test out the library embroidery machine tomorrow, which is exciting. And I always get this way in the summer because I do love my job very, very much, but like there's always a part of me that just like wants to open up like a really cute, like little like boutique shop that has like earrings and sweatshirts, but is also a bookstore, but is also a coffee shop with maybe a few pastries. And just like,
You know what this is sounding like?
what is it sounding like?
This is sounding like the donut shop.
This is sounding like the donut shop, and if anyone doesn't know, like, my extended family does own a donut shop, and the donut shop does have, I think, all of those things, maybe not as much as the books. I think they
Not
do
the
have some
books, yeah,
they'll do
everything
books in
else.
their gift area maybe, but, like, this would not be the donut shop. This would be, like, a place to just, like, sit and chill. It'd be, like, probably, like, all coastal and cute and, like, not smell like donuts. Love
We went
donuts.
to
Don't want to smell
it
like
could
donuts.
also look like we went to the most incredible bookstore in Austin, that had, like, Austin, Texas.
Where? When?
Remember, this is where I gave
Oh,
you my phone, and then I walked
oh,
around the bookstore for
yes,
10
yes, and
and I
I
gave
lost
you my
it.
phone, and I thought they had left me. They didn't leave me. The
No.
point is, how you might be asking yourself, how can you walk around a bookstore for 10 minutes and not find people that are also in the bookstore and have been there the whole time? That's because this bookstore was a maze in the best way. They had all of the different rooms were
Yeah.
different genres of books, and people there was like a little cafe counter downstairs, I guess, and there you could like go and work in the different rooms. Like there were people crafting in one of the rooms. It was amazing.
Yeah, and they had that patio because that's where me and Maggie P were when we lost you, is we were, like, sitting on that porch, just vibing.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
support you in this. If you need to hire me,
I would
like,
like to hire you, and I would just like to, like, sit there and, like, I'd like to work from, like, 1 to 3 every day, and then do this nothing at my house, preferably my
no,
parents' house where they have a pool and usually cook dinner, so
we've talked about this because I don't know that I could just straight up not work. I think like we're not even gonna get into the whole like stay-at-home mom conversation because I think like having kids, especially small children, when
yeah,
they're
no.
like babies, like that is like a job in and of itself. So that's a different story. But like as a single gal on my own, I would get bored not having any type of job. Having a part-time job, like 10 out of 10. Because what I have this week is basically a part-time job.
Yeah,
And
it's
not
amazing.
like I don't I get to work at 8 and I leave at noon. Like that kind of would be ideal.
It's amazing. Yeah,
Which is
so my
ridiculous
crafting has been kind
because
of making me think about that. So,
yeah, I was gonna say that's ridiculous because I get to work well, I get to work before 8, but like let's say I got to work at 8 and I leave at 2:30, it's literally only like 2.5 hours longer, but the 2.5 hours matter.
you do get to leave early, where I leave at, like, 4.
I know that's the funniest thing is sometimes I'll call you and I'm 2 hours behind you
Mhm.
and you'll still be at school and I'll be leaving.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah, but soon, I mean, you're already on summer, but soon we'll both be on summer and
And for 3 weeks out of the school year, we'll be in the same time zone. Or 3 weeks out of the summer, we'll be in the same time zone.
we'll be not only will we be in the same time zone, like we will be in the same
Room.
location with one another for 3 straight weeks.
For 3 straight weeks in the same room and or car.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is funny because times that we've been on trips, like there were also other people on these trips, but it's like the fights happen in the car. It's
Fights
like
happen in the car. So we are gonna have rules. We will have to come up with some rules, some non-negotiables, some norms,
yeah.
a code word maybe.
And we'll have some non-car time before the car to
Yeah,
discuss.
discuss. And I think we'll need to have some quiet time in the car too. We don't need to,
Oh yeah, we don't need to be yapping the whole time.
no, we need to be taking naps and etc. Our road trip is planned based on Costco locations because gas prices these days are insane. So we do have to stop at the Costco for gas.
I paid over $5 a gallon at a Costco
Wait, you did?
the other day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is it not at a Costco?
It's like 5:30, 5:40. I don't even know these days. The problem is like the the city that I live in has a gas tax. There's like some absurd somebody made a really stupid decision about something transportation related a long time ago and was paying for it through like a 60-year gas tax within city limits. So like gas is still crazy expensive everywhere, but you drive like 30 minutes outside of town and gas is under $5. But here it's so expensive.
You want to know what I paid this morning at Costco? I
What
just
did you
looked it
pay
up
at
first.
Costco?
369.
The fact that okay, that just made my blood boil. The
That was for
last time
regular.
I
Premium is 425.
the last time that I paid for gas in a number starting with 3 was when I lived in Arizona, which is like that state alone is a trigger word, but yeah, it hasn't been since then.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know. I am a little bit I'm blessed here with the gas prices, but I can tell you on our road trip we'll be needing to suss out some prices.
Yeah. There's a lot of hacks. Apparently you can get like some gas card that's like not a debit card. I don't even know what it is. It's supposed to get you deals on gas, or there's apps that help you find the cheapest gas in the area. I don't know.
Exciting.
We can be budget friendly gals, which we're gonna have to because we're gonna have
Mhm.
some expenses during these 3 weeks.
Expenses or yeah. All of our regional chain restaurants, which we need to start making a list of.
Yeah, we do.
But
We got to take advantage.
so yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to in terms of my summer. I've also, I mean, I'm one day behind already, but I'm trying to decide if I am going to watch Love Island this summer. Um,
So,
I I watched a lot in college. I did not watch last summer and I felt a little bit left out. So I thought about watching it this summer. It is a commitment. It's every day of the week except for Wednesday. And I don't necessarily know if I'm ready for that. But at the same time, I'm not a summer house girl. And there is so much summer house drama going on with West and Kyle and Amanda Batula. And I feel really left out because I don't watch it. And so I'm just kind of living through TikToks and other podcasts that are talking about it. So I don't really know. I have a lot of FOMO, unsure if I should watch Love Island. Might dabble in it, unsure.
yeah, as someone that is not a reality TV consumer, I recently learned that Love Island was a daily occurrence, and like that's absurd to me.
It's absurd. It's so absurd. And I am a reality TV consumer and I love a reality TV show. And even that is like, I'm all set. I'm all set. I've kind of, I think, transitioned from like, I used to love just general reality TV, where now, like, I'm a big Dancing with the Stars gal. I'm a big Traders gal. And those are more like competition-esque based, where it's like there's a
Yes.
motive and there's a goal.
Yeah.
But it also kind of it filtered like there's some reality TV-ish in there, like in terms of personalities or whatever. But straight up, like reality TV, like I'm sorry, this season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives like lost me. Like I didn't understand the plot. I didn't know understand what was going on. And so it just was their lives. Like there was no point to it, so I feel like it's probably maybe it's a sign of maturity that I'm just like moving away from just like straight garbage reality TV to like a little bit more of a purpose.
Well, the competition one, like this, I'm revealing like one of the many really dweeby facts about myself, but like when I was younger, we like watched the Food Network
Oh,
frequently. I
oh,
love to just like watch the Food Network.
China for sure.
Sure, and I don't know if they still have this, but they had this basically reality show called Food Network Star. That's
Oh,
how
yeah,
Guy Fieri
yep,
got um what's the right word? Like got discovered by
yeah.
the Food Network, was on this competition show. And I just remember the one, I think it was like season 6 of the show. Um it was just so drama all the time. And I did like that. So I like there's a world in which I watch the competitions. I used to watch The Voice like in high school. I
Oh
was into
yeah.
The Voice.
Yeah. So that's kind of just what I've been thinking about, but that's all I got.
Are we are we ready to get into the wellness checks for the week?
I think we're ready to get into the wellness checks for the week. So, Teresa, do you need a wellness check?
I need a wellness check, and my first wellness check, which is probably not a surprise given the time of year, is that I need to check in on myself professionally.
I was also going to do it professionally, but keep going. That's
No,
okay.
we both can.
That's
That's the
okay.
beauty of this show.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so it's the end of the school year. I'm very burnt out with work at this time, which I am always. This year was especially, it was a year. Every teacher knows you have those years, and this was one of those years. Not even with the kids. It was just a long year. And typically, which I've been doing some of, the only type of work that I want to do for like I want to do right now is prep for next year because I like a fresh start. I'm like I want to start thinking about my curriculum and like what I'm teaching next year. And I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. And you've heard this soapbox, other people have heard this soapbox, but like one of the things about working at a Catholic high school, particularly Catholic high schools that I have worked at, which have both been lovely places, but like if someone gave me the keys to the Catholic school kingdom, the hill I would die on is that like teachers need curriculum support and especially new teachers. Like I don't know if this is just a me experience, like maybe you can weigh in on this too, but it's like I have not been given not only like no curriculum, like not even a direction in which to go. Like,
And I can see the frustration in that, and this is where you and I like a little bit differ in the sense that I also walked in as a first year teacher to teaching fifth grade math and was literally told like you can spend $100 and send your receipts to us and do whatever you want, and was given a stack of the state standards and said like peace and blessings, like have so much fun. And I had the time of my life creating that curriculum. Now, my first year, was it a disaster? Absolutely. But like by the second and third year, like I had that down. I made every single thing that they did, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful. Was it vertically aligned to the other grade levels? No. Was it perfectly aligned with what they were like all the standards? Probably not, because I made it. No one, but I had that freedom, and like I loved that. And my job right now is very different in the sense that I make every single thing that they make and or that they do, and I have to do that in special ed. But I can see how that's frustrating maybe with the older grades where things are a little bit more standardized, but from my perspective, I did love to make it all. I know you hate that take, but
no, it's I don't hate the take, and I think that most teachers have that take, which is I think why it is the way it is because most people are like, "Oh yeah, I want the freedom." And I have grown to appreciate the freedom now that I've been teaching for 5 years, which is a wild fact. But I think my problem is like it could be like developing a good curriculum is a full-time job in and of
oh, for
itself.
sure. For sure.
And so I think that the problem lies in that like you're trying to plan a curriculum and teach, like you're trying to do two full-time jobs at once, which either turns into like you don't have work-life boundaries, which is not us. We do not take that option A. And so B, it's like your like things kind of get pushed aside in the curriculum planning sphere
Mhm.
because you're trying to like handle teaching the kids. Anyways, that's I'm getting off of that soapbox and just to say that I'm looking forward for next year. I'm kind of blowing up my ninth grade regular English um, curriculum and I'm focusing a lot more on reading because I think reading skills in this day and age, like we need to help foster even the older kids. And I used to read a lot more in class and I kind of gave up on it early in my career because like honestly I did not have the classroom management skills to like have kids read in class and now I feel like I can and so I'm excited for that. Um but I feel like this is related but it falls under the professional check-in that like I had an important epiphany which I feel like makes sense at this point in my years of teaching that like I feel like after early, your first 2 years of teaching and everything is kind of a disaster. And I'm saying you, but I'm really talking about myself here that like you kind of get self conscious about the fact that it's like you're a new teacher and like,
Mhm.
kids are not walking all over you, but they have their moments. And so I kind of had this thought that like, okay, in order to be taken seriously by not only the kids, but by my coworkers, and I think this is where the problem came in that it's like I had to be this very like not strict in a sense, but difficult teacher. Like my philosophy was like, I'm gonna drown the kids in work and like that's
Mhm.
how they're gonna respect me. Like I'm gonna help them, but I'm gonna drown them in work and like that's how they're gonna respect me. That's how my coworkers are gonna respect me. And I kind of got to the point after this year that I was like, I just don't care. Like
Mm.
I feel like it's not benefiting for my honors class, like fine, but it's not benefiting the ninth grade regular track kids to be giving them like ludicrous amounts of work that just don't really make sense. And I wish I could remember the name of the lady that did the TED Talk, but there's this famous TED Talk. I'm sure everyone in teacher training has seen it. I'm sure you've seen it, where she says that kids don't learn from someone that they don't like.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true. And I think there's a balance to be had, but I feel like that's my goal for the upcoming year is like,
To be a likable gal.
not even a likable gal because not to
You
toot
should
my
share
own
some
horn.
wild stories about yourself.
Huh?
Maybe you should share some wild stories about yourself.
Well, so that's the other thing that my favorite classroom management advice to get from teachers on the internet, which when I think back about the effective teachers I had is so true. They're like, if you are a pushover and you're that like the really nice teacher all the time, the kids are going to walk over you. But if you're really strict all the time and just, you know, like really abrasive to the kids, they're not going to like you and they're not going to pay attention to like, they're not going to learn in any meaningful way.
Mhm.
So they were like, in order to have good classroom management, you have to like be a little crazy and basically be able to go from that sweet nice to the crazy strict in the drop of a hat. So
Yeah.
basically the kids like never know what they're getting out of you. You just have to keep the kids on their toes, especially for older kids. Like they disarmament is the greatest strategy. I don't even know if I
Yeah.
just used that word correctly, but
You gotta just like they can never know your next move.
right. And I feel like to bring this beyond teaching, because I know this is not a teaching podcast and not everyone that listens to this is a teacher. I feel like it ties into conversations I've been having recently with my non-teaching friends about like Gen Z in the workplace and how everyone is hot to trot about like, oh, Gen Z is the worst. They aren't good workers, whatever. And I'm not going to defend every Gen Z person because I feel like some of y'all are not deserving of my defending. But I feel like the issue is sometimes that it's like we're trying to do things differently than people have done in the past that's still like legitimately professional, and it's not taken well. So that's my
Okay.
advice to the Gen Zers out there. Like if and I think like if you will tell, like if everyone at your job is telling you you're bad at your job, sorry, but you're probably bad at your job. But if
Yeah.
like some of your if the people that you know and trust are telling you that you're doing a good job and you have other haters out there, like trust the people that say you're doing good at your job. You're doing well at your
So
job.
from like a
Sorry.
professional standpoint, if we're doing a professional wellness check, like how do you feel like about your job? Like, do you think that you're like in the right career path? Like, do you like ever see yourself doing anything different, like in terms of professional wellness? Give us a little like check in there.
That's a really deep place. I feel like this is where I this is where I struggle because I don't know like both of our degree path is in administration and you and I have both talked about like would we ever move into school administration? Unsure in any capacity. Like certainly not at the beginning of our careers and like for me maybe not now, but I think the issue is like I'm not trying to be like a title seeker, but I feel like it's hard because it's like if someone looks at my let's say that I continue to be a teacher for another 5 years, if someone looks at my resume and goes, "Oh, you've been a teacher for 5 years and you haven't like held any like I'm not a department chair, I'm not like a chair of any committees or anything." It's going to look like not that I haven't done anything, but I don't really have anything tangible to show for it. Whereas like back to talking about the curriculum, it's like I have built two curriculums from scratch, like two very good curriculums from scratch, but I feel like that kind of gets overlooked. So, I don't know. I think I'm open to exploring new leadership positions. I need to get rid of some of my other extracurricular duties before I do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
as we all know. But
Okay.
and by extracurricular duties, I mean like things I do for the school, not like nefarious things.
Well, you also do nefarious things, so
No, no, I don't. Maddie just likes to keep me on my toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I am. I'm kind of like, again, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new curriculum. I'm also excited. I mean, transparently, I don't know what I'm teaching yet for next year, which is a
Mhm.
whole different thing. But if I'm teaching the same thing as I am this year, this will be the first year. So my honor sophomore curriculum, it will be the first year that I can teach the same thing basically in the exact same ways with some minor tweaks and feel really good about that. So that'll be exciting.
That is exciting. I'm happy for
Yeah.
you.
So, anyways, I think I've yapped about teaching shop enough, and I would love to hear your first wellness check.
Okay, well, my first wellness check is going to be a physical one.
Yes.
And probably not the physical one that you're expecting because like I just like haven't been feeling my best this week, but the physical wellness check and wasn't sure what category to put this under, so it might also be like emotional, but I think physical is a better word for it.
That's okay. My next one is also like I'm unsure about the category.
Yeah, I'm unsure about the category, but I need to discuss my haircut.
Oh, we really didn't talk about. I mean, we did. We
Well, we
didn't.
talked I
You and
was
I
getting
didn't.
the haircut. When we recorded, I was getting it like the next day, and I have received the haircut.
No, I meant off the podcast. I'm like, you and I didn't really talk about the haircut that
Yeah.
much.
So the haircut, if I just want to like walk everyone through, like I usually get my hair somewhat lightened for the summer. And then I kind of just like tone it throughout the year, but then I don't know, I just was kind of like sick of like the brassiness and was just kind of over it. And so just like did an at home, like dyed it all like back to my natural hair color, just like a very medium brown.
Mhm.
And I did really like the way it looked. And I was just planning on like keeping that up for summer and just like maybe doing a little trim and just like keeping the brown. But then my dear good friend ChatGPT, I just like thought I would ask it, like, what would this hair look like if I lightened it?
I feel like I have to put it out on the podcast now. An upcoming Maddie and Teresa discussion about AI. It's coming. It's not for this week. I can't get into it, but
Yeah, and I'm a big ChatGPT supporter. I do pay for the premium. And I am like not ashamed of that at all. So anyways, I was at this bridal shower like maybe a month ago and I thought that I took a nice photo of myself. I thought it was like very nice. And so I just
it was a beautiful photo.
thank you. And I uploaded the photo into ChatGPT and said, what would this look like if I like slightly lightened my hair for summer? And it turned out a beautiful image of just like these really soft highlights. And I just like loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And I said, and what would it look like if it was a little bit shorter? So then it just gave me this like perfect haircut. Now I understand it's AI, but it also did look like
It is it.
how my hair has looked in previous summers. So when I went to the hairdresser, I did show her this AI generated picture. Now I told her it was AI and she was like, "No, like that's not crazy. Like I think that's like a great like tool to use or whatever." Then she was like, "But
I
I
mean,
just
I
like
think like my thoughts on AI aside, I don't think that's that different than showing someone a Pinterest video, Pinterest photo of a haircut or color and saying, "Give this to me," which I've done many times.
yeah, like this was actually me." And so then she was like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I can't go that light because you do have like the box dye on your hair. I don't know how much it will lift." And I was like, totally get it. Like, if you can't do it, like, let me know. I know I like messed up my hair by like box dyeing it and whatever. And so she was like, no, 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 we can definitely lighten it. I'm just not sure if it was like that much. And I'm like, okay, fine. So she puts all the foils in, foils my whole head, waits, whatever, says it lifts beautifully. She lifts it, she tones it, and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna take a haircut. How short are we thinking? And I'm like, I'd like it to brush my shoulders. And so like maybe 2 inches. So then she's cutting it and she's like, yeah, like I feel like there's kind of some dead ends and like some unevenness and like texture or whatever. She's like, I want to do some like long layers, okay, if I go a little shorter. I was like, yeah, sure. Then she was like, I feel like, it would actually look better if we did like this length or whatever. And so I was fully aware of what she was doing and I did agree to everything. And now I am here with a chin length bob. That is really not any lighter than it was. So I just paid an absurd amount of money to just kind of almost look like Dora, which
Well, can I share my thoughts first on the coloring? Because I have
yeah,
different thoughts on the bob. My thoughts on the coloring, which I did tell you, is that my hair after, because I also get highlights, my hair right after it gets highlighted, it looks like nothing. It also looks like I've just paid hundreds of dollars for nothing. And then over time, as you wash your hair and you kind of wash the toner out, it becomes more noticeable to the point now where I kind of have like some really blonde pieces in my dark hair, but that's a different story. But like I actually think it's the sign of like hopefully the sign of a better colorist that you can't really tell right now.
Yes, and I think, like, as I spend time in the sun too, the color I really don't have an issue with. It's more of the length because it is, like, extremely, extremely short, and I was in, like, a little bit of a panic, and I called my mom, I FaceTimed her and was like, "I need to show you my haircut, like, this is atrocious." And the very first thing my mother said was, "Oh my gosh, it looks so professional." Which,
No,
like, no, like,
so
"Okay, yeah, mom, I'm gonna go update my Hinge profile picture and, like, put a comment saying, like, my mom says I look professional."
yeah,
What?
looking like a middle school vice principal whom we
Like
love, but like that's the
like,
stereotype.
you literally stereotype, but, like, that is the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, "You look so professional." Amazing. So I'm just, like, not sure, like,
Especially for
how
the summer, that's like the opposite. Like, I don't wanna if I get
cute.
a haircut in January, sure, you can tell me it looks
Sure.
professional, but not in June. Not in
But
June.
also, like, I'm sorry, it is not like I'm a CEO of a company or, like, making really big bucks, like, I'm a Catholic school teacher, there is no need for a professional haircut, like,
No.
I do not need a headshot, I am not on a billboard, I don't, like, don't am not putting my business card a lot of places, like, we don't need to be looking like that. So that was, like, a really great feeling, and I also it's I can put it up kind of, but I feel like the summer I like to have my hair up, like, what I don't know. So I'm just like, I need to figure out like how to style it and just like accept it for what it is because it'll grow back. It's fine. I was nervous about like getting my hair done for a wedding that Teresa and I are both in August. I think it'll be an appropriate length by then. And I feel like hairdressers like know like what they're working with. Like this is not the shortest hair that they've ever seen. Like it'll be fine.
Arguably, like, my top I was literally just thinking about this because 'cause I'm getting my haircut at the end of June, and that'll be the last time I get it cut before this wedding. Like, arguably, right now, the top layers of my hair are as short, if not shorter, than your whole head of hair,
I know.
which I feel like I mean, I guess I would have longer pieces then to put in if they do it. I don't know. Anyways,
Anyway, so that's kind of my physical sense is that like I was just really hoping for this like really cute like long bob lob situation that was going to be like blonde and beautiful and I just like didn't get the exact outcome that I wanted, which is fine. We're just rolling with the punches and going from there. So that's kind of where I'm at.
and no one can say that this podcast is not relatable because there's nothing more relatable for being in your 20s and having no idea what's going on than getting a bad haircut.
Yeah. And like this it's like not the gal's fault like at all. Like she like asked me and she told me exactly what she was doing and I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. Like go
Thing
for
is,
it."
actually, I would like to amend that. It's not a bad haircut. Like, if you would ask for a bob,
Oh,
it would be a great haircut.
yeah. I
It
just didn't
just
have
is
the
a bob. It's a lob. It's
and when she styled it, I mean, it looks cute, but I'm like, I can't really style it like that. So
I think that we kind of had this conversation, but if we have anyone out there that is interested in commenting or responding to this podcast, like you telling me that you go short on your hair for summer is actually the craziest thing in the whole wide world to me. Like,
why?
I want long hair for the summer so that I can put it up, like it's out of my face.
Oh. Oh no, I think it just happened from like when I was like little and I would do like summer swim team and then we were also like always at the beach and whatever and my hair would just get like ratty and tangly and like if you ask my brothers what their most traumatic memory is from childhood, it is my mom brushing my hair. Like they will always say that. And I think my mom was just like, "It always has to be short in the summer because, like, I simply, like, can't manage her," and so then I think I'm always like, "Oh, yeah, like, summer equals short," and, again, we can thank my mother for that, so
I also think for me, like for some reason, I feel like when my hair is longer, I don't have to style it as much. Where it's like if I get
yes.
a short haircut, it's cute, but it does need to be styled. And I don't want to be styling my hair in the summer.
No. So, but I'm like, you don't really have to style it if you're just, like, always at the pool. I mean, everything goes back to the pool.
Well, so I learned that like when I was visiting like you on the East Coast, what, 2 summers ago, that it was like, no, you quite literally don't style your hair. Like that's not how it works.
No, you don't style your hair, you don't wear makeup.
Yeah. Which I have no issue. I did both of those things. I went to school today, no makeup, hair unstyled,
Amazing.
in sweats and a shirt, like nice joggers. But
Yeah, whatever. So, anyways, that's where I'm at. What's your next wellness check?
well, my next wellness check similarly is like I didn't really know what category to put it in. I think it's falling under emotional.
Oh,
Um and maybe a little bit of financial, but I'm not really going to get into the weeds of anyways. I'm just going to begin. So, basically I was talking to my mom this past weekend and I was spinning out about an adult life decision that I have to make, which like is surprising to no one because me spinning out about adult life decisions is kind of par for the course. And I was doing a classic Teresa move that I love to do with my mom, which is being like, well, when you were my age, like you did this and you had this and you were able to do all these things. And now I can't do any of that. Or like you made this decision and it worked out perfectly. And now like I'm making this exact same decision and it's turning out horribly. And so I'm saying all of this to her, and my mom just stops and she looks at me and she goes, I think that you are misremembering what my life was like when I was younger. And never have I been so like read to rights as in that moment because I was like, that is exactly what I'm doing. And I do this all the time where I love to think that my parents' life when they were in their 20s and 30s was perfect and that my life is now a disaster. But I feel like the truth is, I mean, neither like my life is not a disaster and their life wasn't a disaster either, but it wasn't perfect. I don't know. Do you ever like feel that way with your parents? Have you ever
yeah,
said that to them?
yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways, but I feel like you get to this point in adulthood where, and this is especially for like us single gals. I mean, my like partnered or married people, I would love to hear your opinion on this, but I feel like when we have to make adult decisions, it's like, okay, I don't want to make this adult decision completely alone because I just like want to consult someone else to get a check. And so like I'm gonna ask my parents because I trust their opinion. But then there's like this fight or flight response in me that's like, oh, I'm not being an adult because I'm asking my parents for help, which is not true. Like that's not how my parents see it. Like my mom has told me as much. She's like, you're an adult, but I don't really know like what my hang up is.
I think just because it's like different and it's like new and it's like also like I don't know, new things are always scary.
And it is like, I mean, I think it's worth acknowledging, which I've had many conversations with them about this, that it's like we're living in a different world than our parents did objectively. And like, I think that's where the financial thing comes in sometimes, where it's like objectively, and my mom did say this, where she was like, the rate of inflation that we've seen in recent years, like, it is pretty unprecedented in our lifetimes, and the salaries are not keeping up with it. So I think in that respect, it is different. But I'm like, you know what? They have their own challenges. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I just love to think like when my parents were 26, nothing was wrong and everything was rainbows and sunshine.
Because they were all just like smoking cigs and like drinking, I guess. They didn't know the dangers of it yet.
In the 90s. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have,
We
well,
need to do that.
this is in the 50s. I think we know that smoking is bad for you in the 90s, but
Well, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also like there's a difference between being like, okay, you're young, like you're single, you're in your 20s, late 20s, single, and like self-sufficient in terms of like you have a successful job, but like we're late 20s and single, but also poor. So I
That's
feel like
the, yeah.
it's like a little bit different. Like when you're like, okay, wait, no, I actually like don't have any money. And so with my limited funds, what should I be doing? And so like let me go and ask my parents, where it's like I think different when maybe you're in your late 20s and still single is fine, but maybe are not making a Catholic school teacher salary.
Well, and that's where honestly, that's where my biggest hang up comes in because my parents were married by the time that they were my age. And so I think that I just am like, by the time you were my age, you had a dual income. And
Mm.
like, I don't even care what you individually were making. Like, if I, which this is ridiculous, and I would love to be like told off for this, but it's like, is getting like, would getting married solve all of our problems? Absolutely 100% not. Would having a dual
I thought you were
income?
about to say yes. I was like, oh God.
No, no, absolutely not. Like, would having a dual income solve a lot
Oh,
of my problems?
1000%. Yeah.
1000%. So, I mean, I know you have another person that's also like spending, but yeah,
Yeah.
so
Hence
thinking
why
about
we have
the
the
mind,
podcast, guys. So thanks for your support.
huh?
I said, hence why we have the podcast. So thanks for everyone's support.
Yeah, I guess now instead of having a dual income, we just you got to have a side hustle. I don't know. Which that's
Yeah.
like, I mean, dipping back into professional wellness. I was just talking about this with my I have a book group, and on Monday we were just talking about this where it's like, especially at a school, they love to find the young single teachers and be like, you're going to do every single side hustle that this school has to offer. And like,
Mhm.
my one friend that's a nurse was talking about like same thing. She's on like XYZ committee. And I just was like, we also deserve to have a life. Like, you know what I want to do after my full day of teaching? Not my job. Like,
Yeah. I want to
so
do nothing. I want to watch reality TV.
which, like, again, I mean, I guess if we can get this podcast monetized and pay for what we'd be doing anyways, that's kind of a win.
Yeah. So thanks to all of our listeners. With I think over 50% of them being our family members, which love the support.
Of the support. We'll be starting a Patreon soon. I was thinking about that though, where I was like, if we, not that they're like, we can be open books to an extent on this podcast, and like, it's mostly me, like, I am the problem that I'm like, we can't talk about
Yeah,
XYZ on the
Teresa
pod.
just is worried about being subpoenaed.
I am. It's a fear of mine. But like, if we had a Patreon behind a paywall, all bets are off.
And like I do think if we had a Patreon behind a paywall, like would people pay for it? I'm unsure. Would John pay for it? For sure.
Yeah, like he would probably get Grim his own subscription.
Oh, 1000%. Future
So
podcast guest, just Grim.
just Grim. Grim is
Yeah.
the dog for
Grim,
all you out there. So,
Grim is a dog
anyways,
to everyone except for my parents. Grim is a child. So
yeah. Anyways, that's my emotional wellness check. What's your final wellness check? Our fourth and final
um,
wellness check.
my final wellness check is a professional one, and it's kind of like a semi-tiered professional one,
Okay.
for quite a few different reasons. And I don't even like really know how to like start this, but I feel like in the summer I always like reevaluate, like, okay, like what am I doing? Where am I going? This is also the first summer in forever that I haven't also been in school because I finished my last
I
degree
keep forgetting this fact.
in August. And so this is the first summer where I'm like, wait, I don't have to Zoom or like check Canva, like Canvas or whatever every hour of the day.
Wait,
And
because you were after we the last program that you were in was 2 summers.
yeah.
You were in school for 2 of the summers. Okay, sorry, continue.
And so I am so grateful to not be on Canvas. So grateful to not be on Zooms and doing those readings, but like also do miss a little bit of like the intellectual stimulation. Maybe this
Mhm.
is an intellectual wellness check. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I do miss a little bit of the intellectual like stimulation. And so I'm always like, okay, like, well, what do I want to do next? Do I want to go back to school? And like, no, for the workload of like, I don't know if I could do that to myself again. But in terms of like professional growth, like, yeah, obviously I do. So I was at drinks with a friend, a colleague that I did my last program with, who is older than us, like is our parents' age. And she was like, okay, so like it's been a year. Are you going back to school? And I was like, oh my gosh.
Don't
We
ask this.
like I told myself I wasn't gonna think about it for a year, which like it is coming up on a year. So I think I've been thinking about that, just like what I want to do next. And like that's always a little crippling, like exciting, but also scary at the same time. But then also in this sense that I've been looking at again my next school year and like what it's gonna look like. And everything always kind of comes back to I have a very unique job as a middle school sped teacher in a Catholic school, and I love my job so very much. It is a wild, wild ride, but it is so entertaining and it is so fun and it is so fulfilling in every way possible. And so part of me is like, I don't know if I could like ever not do that. But then part of me is like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this forever.
The rest of
And
my
one
life.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, one thing that's been interesting about my group of kids and my job is we focus on a lot of life skills, which is really important, like money management and just like what kind of jobs they'll have in the future and a lot of practical things that a typical classroom teacher wouldn't focus on. Like I have, extensive training in phonics and in math intervention and in all this stuff, and I
Mhm.
don't necessarily really use that because we are, figuring out like if something is a refrigerated or non-refrigerated item, which I think sometimes that makes me like, "Oh my gosh, like, did I go through all this schooling to then just be, like, talking about refrigerated and non-refrigerated items?"
Yeah.
Like, and not that it makes me feel less of a teacher, but sometimes it does make me be like, "Okay, like, I am just, like, sitting here, like, looking at the McDonald's menu trying to figure out, like, how, like, much money we need with tax for a chicken nugget Happy Meal." And is that what I wanna be doing with the rest of my life? And, like, short answer is yes. Like, I think that's so enjoyable and that's so fun and so needed and so practical, and not everyone wants to do that. But on the other side, I'm like, why on earth am I doing that? Like, I am a qualified person to do a lot of other things, but why do I just like love like budgeting $10 at McDonald's? So I'm just kind of like, well, what do I want to do next? And it's just clearly I'm not ready to go back to school, which is fine. Um, and we'll definitely need to take some more time to think about that. But I don't know, just been having some professional and intellectual thoughts.
I feel like the thought of not doing what you went to school to do is a real one that I've had because my 3rd year of teaching, I was approached about taking a campus ministry job that opened, and I was like, "You know what? I'm not taking this." I mean, there were other reasons too, but I was like, "Yeah, I went to school to be an English teacher, like, I wanna use that." But then I think about other teachers who have, like, like, we had one teacher who transitioned from being a teacher to kind of, like, working in the business alumni office, and I was like, "That's such a great job." But then I get your thing about wanting to go back to school because then it's like, okay, I see a world where it's like I transition to something like that and I go get my MBA or like
Mm.
do you have like a path in mind that I know you're not going to school yet, back to school
So
yet.
I'd always thought like maybe I'd go for school psychology because I find that very interesting. And although I can interpret IEPs and I can write IEPs, I cannot perform like the testing section that goes into an IEP. And so I think it'd be really cool to have like all the capabilities to do like a full circle like evaluation um of a student and like to come up with a plan and all that. But I mean, to go get a school psych degree, like that would be like 5 years, like full time. Like I don't know if I have that
That's
in me.
insane.
So then I've just thought about getting like an ED, like education doctorate, and just like focusing on inclusion practices in Catholic schools. But then I'm like, I don't really know what I would want to do with that. So I think I just need to kind of figure out like where I'm going with my career first. Which I mean, I have a life crisis every summer, so it's like not out of the typical, but it's just kind of like weird that this is the first summer I'm not in school.
Which to me sounds magical. But I'm starting to get it back now. I feel like I always tell everyone, like, after undergrad, which is why I did my master's, I was like, after undergrad, I love school. I want to keep going to school. I want to be a student forever. After my master's, I was like, you are gonna have to drag my body kicking and screaming. I don't understand how you did a program after our first master's. Like,
And here's the thing is like we loved our master's program.
no,
We
loved. Like,
loved
yes,
it.
thank you for
Loved
saying
every
this.
second of it. Like loved every second of it. And it was like amazing and wonderful and like seriously like no notes, like best decision I've ever made. But it also was a lot. Like
It was a lot, and I'm glad you said that and clarified that because I also always tell people that like m my my undergrad was great and different because it was very much like learning how to learn,
mhm,
exploratory, like I think it was good in that sense. As far as like learning practical things about my job and practical philosophies of teaching, I learned all of that from my master's, like
Yeah.
wealth of knowledge, but it was a lot, especially the last year of our internship.
Mhm.
That,
Like,
yeah,
seriously loved them all, like, miss them so much, like, yeah,
yeah.
amazing. So,
Go
that's where
to
we're at.
movies.
Okay, well, thanks for your wellness check.
You know what it's time for.
It's time for hyperfixations. Can you go first?
I can, and I'm determined to get it in under 30 seconds, but
Oh, yeah.
I would like a prelude that's not timed.
Okay, that's fine. You can go with your
So,
prelude.
in the planning stages of this podcast, this segment was alternatively going to be called Teresa Gets 30 Seconds to Talk About Sports, which is more applicable in the fall during football season. But I decided today to pay homage to that original thought. So, that's my
Okay.
prelude whenever you're ready.
All right. And oh, hold on. 3, 2, 1, go.
30-second, my hyperfixation, NBA Finals. The first game was tonight, but we have nuns getting national mainstream news coverage. We have Knicks fans literally burning down New York City. You have a guy who's like 10 feet tall. And I feel like no one cares about the NBA anymore, including myself, because Steph Curry ruined basketball, which is a hot take for another day. But I feel like it's kind of fun that people are interested in it again. And I also learned that every single member of the Spurs starting lineup is younger than we are. The end.
30 seconds. Wow. Yeah, I actually was gonna bring up that the Knicks and they won tonight. The Knicks won.
Well, they did. I'm
Yeah.
so happy for them because I know what it's like. I feel like most sports fans know what it's like to be a fan of an absolute poverty franchise, as
Mm.
the Knicks have been before this. So happy for them.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just kind of winging this one.
Let me get my 30 seconds up. Okay. Ready, go.
Okay, my 30-second hyperfixation is I feel like I kind of rediscover iced coffee again in the summer. I'm always an iced coffee girl. I just don't really drink it very regularly. In the summer though, I love to get a treat of a nice coffee. And I recently have been really into Seven Brew. We just got some in the my area and I've just been like really fixated on their fizz drinks, on their regular drinks, everything. And their lines are always really long, but they have a good playlist, so you didn't really subscribe to them.
That's
Anyways,
the
it's really
end.
good. So,
I've never heard of Seven Brew, you said?
you never heard of it?
No.
Oh, all the TikTok girlies love it. And
You know
it's
what the
some type
TikTok
of like
girlies also love is Dutch Bros, which I was dragged to when you and Meg came and visited. I'm the
yes,
biggest
I
Dutch Bro
love Dutch.
haters on the planet. Like,
There's one in Chicago.
let it be told. Well,
So, but yeah, I don't really know the actual significance of Seven Brew, but the seven is like something religious. I don't really know exactly what it is.
oh, well, seven is a biblical number.
It is a biblical number, so it like means like something.
Wait, no,
Um,
I have heard of this, maybe. But I thought it
anyway,
was just a brand.
no, it's a coffee place.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else though. There's like a coffee brand that has like a religious
Oh.
angle.
Well, let us know in the comments if you know what's going on with Seven Brew and the religious angle.
Yeah,
And by people in the comments, I literally mean my dad.
you mean
So
John. John, let us know.
let us know.
All right,
Okay.
Maddie, what are you reminding yourself of this week?
Oh my gosh, what am I reminding of myself this week? I'm reminding myself that okay, this is gonna be sound similar to last week that rest is productive, but that like downtime is needed and like you don't need to fill every second of your day and that like having hobbies that are not necessarily fruitful in terms of career and or anything like are still important. Like I love my crafts and like that's okay. And I don't need to spend all of my free time doing something that is super productive, like cleaning or organizing or doing my work or like looking at a budget or looking at this, but I can just like have rest time and it is okay if it's like an unproductive rest time. Does that make sense?
That makes 100% sense. And I won't get too in the weeds about this, but like that's kind of the whole argument about like the arts, where it's like
Yeah.
the arts don't have input, maybe in the ways that like other, not to be a STEM hater, I'm not a STEM hater, maybe a little bit, but like, and they don't have the same like output that traditional STEM fields do, but it's like the arts are still important. So
Arts are important. Bring back the arts, guys.
bring
Bring
back
back
the
the arts.
arts.
All right, what are you taking with you this week?
I'm reminding myself this week that there are a very select few people in your life that you love and trust that you should be worried about what they think of you. But to even take that further, like you should also not be worried about what those people think of you in every aspect of your life. Like,
Uh,
I think, for instance, where it's like if you have people you love and trust to give you advice about like your day to day things, but they don't know anything about your professional life, don't worry about what they think about you professionally because
mm,
it quite literally does not matter. So,
that was beautiful.
yeah, that's what I'm taking with me.
I love that.
Wow, that was a good wellness check. I feel
That was a good
well.
wellness check. I feel well. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Thank you for the love and support on our first episode. They say 99% of podcasts don't make it to episode 2, so we're part of the 1%.
Here we
Um,
are.
here we
Should we
are.
throw a podcast launch party? Did you get that reference?
Oh, we should. Um, but we are planning on posting on every Friday. So a little bit different to normal podcasts. Gonna try out a Friday situation. So hydrate, text your friends back, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.